Ever since I read my very first Nancy Drew mystery over 40 years ago, I have always been drawn to female detectives. Today, I'm here to share some of the female detectives written by female authors that I recommend that you may never have heard of. Hello book friends, I'm Jen and welcome to my reading life and welcome to a March Mystery Madness video today. And today I thought I'd share something a little bit different. I was trying to think of what types of mysteries I wanted to share with you all. There are so many mysteries out there. I am a huge mystery reader. I love all kinds of mysteries, from cozier mysteries to thrillers sometimes, depending on what they are. And as I was thinking about mysteries, one of the types of mysteries that I really am drawn to are mysteries featuring either a female private investigator or just a female sleuth of some kind. And as I started looking at some of my very favorites of that type of book, I realized that I really enjoy them when they are written by female authors. Now, I know that a lot of you are going to come into my comments and say, what about Sue Grafton's Kinsey Millhone series? What about Agatha Christie's Miss Marple series? I adore all of those books, from Sue Grafton to Agatha Christie, to Jacqueline Winspear, to Ellie Griffiths, to my new love of Dorothy Gilman's Mrs. Polifax series. There are so many female detectives, sleuths, private investigators out there to love. But today what I want to talk about are maybe some female investigators, detectives, sleuths, whatever you'd like to call them, that maybe are a little bit under the radar and you have not heard about, but I think are worth a read. Grab yourself a warm beverage and let us dive into them. First up, I want to start with an author who is actually somebody who was writing before even Sue Grafton wrote her Kinsey Millhone series, and that is Marcia Muller. And Marcia Muller created the character of Sharon McCone, and Sharon McCone is very similar to Kinsey Millhone. If you like the Sue Grafton alphabet series, you will enjoy Marcia Muller. Marcia Muller's mystery series is actually set in San Francisco, so I love a mystery set near where I live because it's always fun to read about places that I know of and are familiar to me. And this is an incredibly long-running series. Marcia Muller has been writing since 1977. The first book in the series is Edwin of the Iron Shoes, and I think she has written, as of right now, 34 books in this series. So this is a series that will keep you occupied for quite some time. Now, as with any series, some books are better than others, and I think I have read so far about 23 or 24 of the books in the series. I feel very well versed in Marcia Muller's world that she has created, and it is one that I highly recommend, especially if you're a fan of Sue Grafton. You cannot go wrong. Definitely read this series in order because you will follow along with Sharon's personal life, as well as each book is its own individual mystery. So start with Edwin of the Iron Shoes and work your way through them. They are lovely. They are perfect beach reads, vacation reads. They're very slim. You can get through them very quickly, and I definitely think you should give them a try. Next up is actually another series set in San Francisco, though this one is set more around the turn of the century, and that is the Fremont Jones mystery series by Diane Day. This is a relatively short mystery series. There are only 6 books in this series, and unfortunately Diane Day passed away in 2013, so there aren't going to be any more, but I think you can read these 6 books, enjoy them for what they are. I don't believe the 6th book leaves you on any kind of like cliffhanger or with any kind of loose ends, so I think you can feel satisfied reading them. It has been quite a few years since I have read this, but Diane Day's character, Fremont Jones, has moved to San Francisco from the East Coast. I believe she went to Wellesley College, and so she's fairly well educated, but she comes to San Francisco and sets herself up as a private investigator. And it's just really fun. I think the setting is fantastic, though I might be a little biased. I also love the time period. I feel like this is a time period that mystery novels haven't tackled all that much, that sort of early 1900s in America, particularly in California, and I just find that really fascinating. And I really like Fremont Jones. I think the description of her in one of the Goodreads entries is that she is a intrepid, plucky young woman. And I think by now, if you've been watching my channel, you know that that speaks directly to my heart. And I really liked Fremont Jones. And if you like historical mysteries, then I think you should give this one a try. And I have one more series set in San Francisco. I know I'm sounding like a broken record now, but I really just love books that are set where I actually live. And this series is very fun, light, very funny, quite quirky, but I definitely recommend Lisa Lutz's The Spellman Files. And in The Spellman Files, we follow the Spellman family, who actually are a family of detectives. But Isabel Spellman, who is the oldest daughter, is sort of going off on her own. There are reasons for that that are made clear when you read the books. And she kind of gets herself into all sorts of funny, sometimes compromising, sometimes laugh out loud, hilarious situations. And yet Isabel is very, very good at what she does. And I love her. I love her whole family. Her younger sister, whose name is escaping me, but she is quite precocious and she's another great character, but really everybody in the family is. It's just fun to read a mystery series where the family dynamic plays into it, because I think that's something that I don't come across in mystery novels very often, if at all, and I really like that about the Spellman Files. There are 6 books in the Spellman Files mystery series. This series is just good, plain fun, and if that's something that you like in your mysteries, if you'd like that family dynamic, if you'd like a little humor, then give Isabel Spellman and the entire Spellman family a try. Next up, we are going to leave California, head across the Pacific Ocean, and end up in Japan, in Tokyo to be specific. And this is a mystery series actually written by an author you may be familiar with. Her name is Sujata Massey, and she's most famous right now for having written the Perveen mystery series, which is set in India. And while I've read the first 2 books of that series, the 3rd book I actually DNF'd. I'm not sure if it just wasn't the right time for that book, but I found it really slow going and I just ended up giving up on it. Not to say I'm giving up on the series entirely. I believe there might be 1 or 2 more books in the series so far, but I may go back to it at some point. However, the series I want to recommend by Sujata Massey that you may not know about is the Rei Shimura mystery series. And as I mentioned, it is set in Tokyo, Japan. Rei Shimura is a Japanese-American woman living in Tokyo. She is actually there to teach English, and she doesn't have very much money, and then there is a murder, and of course she gets herself involved in that. Now, I will say that these mysteries are a little bit on the darker side, so definitely do your research if that's something you're maybe on the fence about, but I really enjoyed them. Again, it's been quite a few years since I have read these. There are 11 books in the Rei Shimura series. I've read, I think 4 or 5 of them. I can't remember now. As I said, it's been quite a few years since I read them, but it's definitely a series I would like to get back to and finish up because I really did enjoy the books in it that I read. And if a mystery novel set in Japan appeals to you, then definitely give Rei Shimura a try. My last 3 recommendations are going to take us to jolly old England, one of my very favorite settings for mysteries, as you probably know by now. And the first mystery series set in England that I want to recommend is the Dorothy Martin series, written by Jean M. Dams. And I've only read the first 2 or 3 books in this series, but there are 26 books in this series, and it's definitely one that I want to read more of. These books to me feel a bit like kind of palate cleansers. They are a little bit on the cozier side. Dorothy Martin is an American who has moved to England, and of course she gets herself involved in some mysteries going on. And I think if you like Miss Marple or other mysteries of that same ilk, then you should give Dorothy Martin a try. Maybe not as well written as Agatha Christie. They're definitely towards the cozier end of mysteries, but I enjoyed the first couple that I've read, and it is definitely a series that I want to continue on with, and it's one that I'll be seeking out when I am just in the mood for something on the cozier side. And speaking of cozy mysteries, another series that I want to recommend is the Aunt Dimity mystery series by Nancy Atherton. And Aunt Dimity is actually a ghost. What's cozier than that? Not a scary ghost. She's She's a helpful ghost, and I've only read a couple of books in this series, but I actually have 2 more on my shelves that I want to read. I have Aunt Dimity and the Duke, and then I also have Aunt Dimity's Christmas. I think this one might be book 2. This one is farther down in the series. I'd love to read them in order. I think I've read the first book and the third book. Maybe one other, I can't remember now, but I would like to go back and kind of start over and read them again. But I really enjoyed Aunt Dimity in the first couple of books that I read by Nancy Atherton. And if a ghost who helps solve mysteries sounds appealing to you, then I definitely think you should give Aunt Dimity a try. She's quite charming. And yes, I just really like this series. I think it is very fun. And then my final mystery series that I want to recommend is fairly new. It's also set in England, and it actually features a very famous mystery novelist, Agatha Christie herself. But Agatha Christie's not the main character in this. I don't always enjoy books where somebody has taken a famous person and turned them into a mystery sleuth. But in this one, it works because Agatha Christie is not the focal point of these books. It's actually her fictional housekeeper, Phillida Bright. And this is the Phillida Bright mystery series by Colleen Cambridge. So far, there are 4 books in the Phillida Bright series. There is a 5th book I just saw coming out in October. Very excited. I absolutely love these books on audio. They are fantastic. Can't recommend them enough. Really good mysteries, well plotted, well paced. I really love Phillida as our main character. We also meet the sort of head butler who she has a bit of a cantankerous relationship with, so that's kind of fun. She also has a less cantankerous relationship with the family's chauffeur, and that is also very fun. And then we do get glimpses of her relationship with Agatha Christie as well. But I do like that Agatha Christie plays a very small role in these books because I think it's very hard to personify somebody who has a larger than life persona as Agatha Christie does. But I think Colleen Cambridge handles that really well in this mystery series, and I highly recommend it. I cannot wait for the 5th book to come out in October. Those are all the mystery series that are by female authors about female sleuths that I would like to recommend to you today. But I do actually have 3 books that are, again, by female authors about female sleuths that I really want to read, and I thought I would share those with you as well. Maybe you guys can vote down in the comments to tell me which one of these I should read first. First up, I have Mrs. Jeffries Takes the Stage by Emily Brightwell. And Mrs. Jeffries is a housekeeper to an inspector at Scotland Yard. And I think the inspector is himself not that great at his job, and Mrs. Jeffries helps him along the way. And I've actually read one of the Christmas books in this series, but it has been so long, I don't remember really anything about it. But this is set in Victorian England, and I definitely want to give this one a try. This actually isn't the first book in the series, so I probably will start with the first one. I think this is well into the series. I think this is like book 15 or something like that. So, but if anyone's read this, let me know if you've enjoyed it, and definitely let me know if it's one I need to read in order, because I will start with book 1 then. Next up is a book that was actually sent to me by one of my lovely friends from Bookstagram and here on BookTube, Susan, and that is a Kate Shackleton mystery. This is the first one, Dying in the Wool by Frances Brodie, and she sent this to me because I'd actually checked a Kate Shackleton book out of the library. I thought it was the first one in the series. It was not, so I didn't end up reading it. And Susan had this copy, and she was so kind enough to send it to me. This takes place in Yorkshire. I think this is maybe set like in the 1920s, around that time period. And yes, I don't know really that much about this series other than that I've always wanted to read it. So let me know if I should start with this one. And the final mystery on my TBR that is by a female author featuring a female sleuth is a Miss Silver mystery by Patricia Wentworth. This is Miss Silver Comes to Stay, and this came in my fall Small Home Comforts book box, and I really want to read this series. I know this isn't the first in the Miss Silver mysteries, and I've heard that the series kind of picks up around book 4 or 5, I want to say, and I think this was later on, but it sounds like I can read these out of order. But let me know if you've read Miss Silver and enjoyed her, and if I should start with this one. Again, these are the 3 books that I have on my TBR, which one should I start with? I hope you enjoyed this look at some mysteries that you may not have on your radar. I hope you found something new to add to your TBR. Let us talk all things female detectives and female mystery authors down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you if there's a mystery series by a female author featuring a female sleuth that I did not mention that you think I might enjoy. Please leave those in the comments down below. But really, let's chat anything mystery novels or anything bookish at all that you'd like to chat about down in the comments below. And if you don't have anything that you want to add in the comments, but you'd like to let me know that you were here, because comments really do help my channel, why don't you leave a female emoji of some kind? Any kind that you want. It is International Women's Month, so let's celebrate the ladies today. So if you could leave those emojis, that would be lovely. I love seeing that you were here and that you made it this far. And if you did enjoy this video, if you could hit that like button and subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, I would love to have you join my bookish community. And as always, I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye!